YouTube, how y'all doing today? Today, we're going to be talking about war. Yes, war. Alright, so we all know about war. Certain wars like World War I, World War II, possibly World War III, the Civil War, the Vietnam War, the Revolutionary War. If you didn't know about any of those, then you didn't pay attention in history class. But that's okay, because I didn't either. That's a lie. But have y'all ever heard about a war against animals? No? I mean like an actual war against animals. Still no? Okay. So, anyways, I'm going to tell y'all a little history lesson. So this took place all the way back in the 1930s. This was a war against emus, and it took place in Australia. It was called the Great Emu War. So, before we talk about the Great Emu War, I'm going to give y'all a little rundown on the emu. The emu is a rat type, just like the ostrich rhea, and the most dangerous bird on the planet. If you did not watch that video, I really recommend you watch that video, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, they are the second tallest bird and the third heaviest bird on Earth, and these birds are endemic to Australia, of course, and they are the largest bird on the continent. They are omnivorous, eating leaves, fruits, grass, and occasionally insects. They have a max sprint speed of 31 miles per hour, meaning that it will burn you in a race any time of the day. Now, back to war. The Great Emu War lasted from November 2nd, 1932 to December 10th, 1932. So that was a good month just fighting birds. Ain't that some shit? The war began due to 20,000 emus migrating from the coastal lands of Australia to the mainlands of Australia for breeding purposes. However, this land was also occupied by soldiers that were going to be using that land for World War I. Also, it was also caused because they were wreaking havoc on farmland. Now, the war took place in Campion, Western Australia. A group of soldiers came to the area with machine guns of all weapons, and they just saw about 30 to 50 emus in the area. Sadly, the emus were out of range for the guns, so somebody decided to hatch a plan. No pun intended. So they decided to round up the emus to ambush them. To no surprise, the birds began to run around in small groups, and the war officially began. Shots were fired, and no emus died due to them being too far. A second round of shots were fired, and soldiers killed about a dozen emus. On November 4th, Major Meredith decided to make a plan to ambush about 1,000 emus that were at a dam. They waited until the birds were on point-blank range, and then they decided to fire. Sadly, after killing only 12 birds, their guns decided to jam. Damn, at the worst time. In just 6 days, 6 long days, about 2,500 shots were fired, but barely any birds were killed. This is insane. Some soldiers claimed only 50 emus were killed, while other embarrassed soldiers decided to obviously increase the number between 200 and 500 emu deaths. The soldiers tried again and were a bit more successful. Some soldiers claimed only 1,000 emus died, while another 2,500 emus died due to injuries. And on November 10th, 1932, the soldiers decided to give up, and they officially lost the Great Emu War. Just remember, there were about 20,000 emus that migrated, and about 2,000, 3,000 emus died. Yes, you lost that war. But anyways, that's it. That's all I got for y'all today. I hope I gave y'all a nice little history lesson about the war against animals, the Great Emu War. But anyways, I'm out.